Well, I've seen many a ceremonial first pitch, but I haven't seen many that had a break on it like this one. Look at that pitch by David Cohn. Of course, it was 10 years ago today that David, along with Joe Girardi, authored a perfect game here at the stadium, or across the street at the stadium. And look who's joining us right now, and no stranger to the Yes booth, certainly, David Cohn. And how honored am I, sitting next to one pitcher who threw a no-hitter and another one who threw a perfect game.
We got him surrounded.
And David, I want to ask you, sometimes pitchers, when they warm up prior to the game, they feel like they either don't have it or they really have it. What did you feel like that day?
I felt very happy-go-lucky because it was Yogi Berra Day, and I watched Yogi riding around in a convertible all day around the warning track, and I remember just laughing watching Yogi. I was so happy to see Yogi back in the house. Everybody was thrilled for Yogi. He was in the clubhouse before the game, and just a wonderful day. I remember not even thinking about my warm-up, just watching Yogi.
Cabrera takes a pitch for a call strike. Now, at what point in the game did you realize you had extra good stuff?
I knew probably after there was a rain delay in the fourth inning, and then when I came back, I got a real quick fifth inning, and then I started to think about it. And then the crowd picked up on it. And, of course, when you do something like that at Yankee Stadium, the crowd lets you know what's going on, and every two-strike chant, they really got into it.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Cabrera, and he tried to check the swing. The Yankees do not get the call. It's a ball and a strike. Now, was there any hesitation about coming back following the rain delay? I know it was only about a half hour or so.
Yeah, the fact that it was only about a half hour really saved me, although it was a really hot, humid day, and that helped me at that point in my career. I was 36 years old, and the hot weather really helped me a lot.
10 years later, what's the first thing you sit here? Obviously, a new stadium, but is there some? What's the first thing you say? Wow, the perfect game is what?
It's just remarkable that the further removed I get from it now, the more I appreciate it, because fans come up to me and talk to me about where they were during the ninth inning of that day 10 years ago today.
And of course, there were 400,000 people in the stands by now, right?
You hear a lot. I was there. I was at the game. And you wonder. But the stories mean more to me than anything. And I know I say that a lot, but it really does. I've had people come to me today in the stadium and say, I was 10 years old. I was at the beach, and my dad and I crowded around a car radio to listen to the ninth inning. And those stories mean more to me than anything. And that's why I say, the further removed I get to it, I hear more of those stories. It makes me appreciate it more.
Let's go back 10 years ago. David Cohn on the mound across the street at the old Yankee Stadium. And that's Orlando Cabrera at the plate. And were you happy the last one was a pop-up?
I was happy. I tell you what, you talk about relief. You get to get that close out. You know what that feeling's like in the ninth inning. And you kind of have those, you're talking yourself into it. You can do this, get it done. And then there's that little doubt in the back of your mind. Don't blow it. Don't hang it.
Now, that was before Boomers?
That was right after Boomers. Boomers did hit in 98, and then I followed up in 99.
And David, you can see two good pitchers on the mound today. You think of matchups back to your day? Was there any pitcher you didn't like to match up against?
Well, I tell you what, in 1998, I don't think anybody wanted to match up with Orel Hershiser when he was breaking Don Drysdale's scoreless inning streak. He was as tough as anybody in any stretch. It was 6 straight shutouts in 1988.
David, I'll tell you a story about that particular day. I wasn't working that day. I was actually taking the train up from Maryland. And when I got to Penn Station in New York, a guy walked up to me and said, "Hey, Ken, David Cohn pitched a perfect game today." And I said, "Oh, yeah, right." So I got to the hotel, turned on the TV, and sure enough, and then I started to get angry because I missed that game. I didn't work it.
From a personal standpoint, as I said, 10 years later, obviously so many people remember that moment, and I'm thankful to have that moment. I certainly enjoy sharing World Series championships with my teammates. I would still put that at the top of the list, but when you get remembered or you have a defining moment that fans remember you for 10 years later, that's pretty remarkable.
I think the World Series championships, and we've all played on World Series teams, define you as a winning type baseball player, and that's a good legacy to have. But on personal level, when you throw no-hitters in perfect games, people are going to tell you where you were and where they were on that particular day watching you. I don't think you're aware of how you touch people until after you've retired and Swisher strikes out.
Yeah, that's so true, Kenny. People will not let me forget it, and I'm so thankful for that. And as you said, your story you just told about the Penn Station and hearing it and finding out later, and I wish every player could have that feeling or that kind of a defining moment in their career. You certainly had several in your career, Al, and I think you know what I'm talking about. And I feel today especially very thankful to the Yankees for having this day. And you look at those numbers up on the board there, and all those World Series championships, and 98, 99, and 2000, 3 straight years. Pretty remarkable. And then you throw in 96 for 4 out of 5. That just doesn't get any better than that. When you look up at the history of the Yankees and know you're part of that.
Keep all those rings in a safe deposit box.
And you mentioned it, the longer you get away from it in 10 years, and before you know it, we'll all be older, and you look back and you become more reminiscent and sentimental. And you're right, the more stories come to you.
Why do you look at me when you say older?
I didn't look at you. Yeah, you appreciate more. There's no doubt about it.
Well, you appreciate the things you were able to do as a younger man. I want to thank David Cohen for being with us. David, congratulations. Thanks for the memories, and we'll see you soon back in the Yes booth. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.